Before starting Java, you need to understand its importance, like how Java is different from other languages. We have C and C++. We don't know how they work, but the end result, what C and C++ gives, is an application. And Java also gives an application. But the difference between C and C++ and Java is platform independent and platform dependent. These two words means Java is platform independent and C and C++ are platform dependent. So what do you mean by this platform independent and dependent? Platform is nothing but the operating system, OS, like Windows, Linux, Mac OS. This entire thing comes under platform. Dependent or independent means if I develop a game inside Windows, I can't install that game inside the Linux. That is platform dependent. Whereas platform independent means if I develop a game inside Windows, I can install in Linux, I can install in Mac OS. That is the advantage. Means by using C and C++, if I develop something, I need to develop it a repeated number of times for different operating systems. Coming to Java, if I develop a game or any application once, I can use that in all the other operating systems without any changes. That is possible because Java is platform independent and C and C++ are platform dependent. So why C and C++ are dependent and why Java is independent? That we have to understand. When you develop an application in C and C++, it generates a file .exe. Means it generates executable file, which actually consists of ones and zeros. Okay. And in the market, we have different operating systems like Windows is there, Linux is there, Mac OS is there. These are the different operating systems we have. So if the operating systems are different, means their machine language or the ones and zeros also will be different. So Windows generated ones and zeros, if you are trying to give it to Linux, it can't understand because they are two different operating systems with different ones and zeros. And the same thing if you give it to a Mac OS, it can't understand. The problem here is because of the machine language. For every operating system, there is a different machine language. Now, how Java is different, why it is independent? Because it doesn't generate .exe file. So what it generates a .class file. Means if I write a program, I get an output with an extension .class, not .exe. So when this .class is there, machine can't understand this. And this .class, we can call it as bytecode. What we can call it as? Bytecode. Machine, as usual, understands only one language. That is ones and zeros. So how this .class file or bytecode, we have to make it understand. We need software. So what that software is? JVM. So what we are doing is every operating system will have a JVM, and this dot class file is given to the JVM. Based on that operating system, it will convert to ones and zeros. So Java is independent of operating system, but we need this JVM. Then only we can execute the thing. Okay. So here, the same bytecode or dot class file is given to Linux JVM. Based on that, it can understand. If you want to see, you can open the Google and just say JVM for. You can see Windows, it's different. Linux, it's different. If I say Mac OS, it's again different. Means for every operating system, a different JVM is there. And what this JVM is doing, what do you mean by JVM? JVM is a software like Java Virtual Machine. So what's the full form of JVM? Java Virtual Machine. What it does actually, it converts the bytecode to machine code. That is the main intention here. So understood this point, why Java is different and why Java is important. Because if you see before Java, whatever the language were there, they were dependent on this operating system. If I develop a game inside the Windows, I can't install that in Linux. Whereas if I develop the same game using Java, I can install in any operating system. There is no restriction. Okay. So is this concept clear? Any doubts?
Clear.
Deepika, Nidhi, Priya.
Yeah, it's clear.
Clear, clear.
It's clear.
Okay. So next. So this is why JVM. You need to understand JVM also, because here, whatever the programs you write, the JVM is the first thing the machine will interact with. Means your code is going to JVM first. From JVM, it is going to the OS. So JVM is kind of like a manager to our program. It manages the memory, it manages the execution part, the order, everything is done by JVM itself. Okay. So where we can find this JVM? Now we have learned one thing, that Java requires JVM. That's fine. So in order to have the JVM installed in your system, you need to install a software known as JDK. So what is JDK? Java Development Kit. So this JDK you need to install. You know, in mobiles also we have different versions. Like Marshmallow was there, Jelly Bean, all these different OS are being introduced. So what is the difference? Enhancements will be there. The same way for JDK also, it starts from 1.1 and the latest version of JDK is 14. But you won't be installing 14. Still in the market, they are using 1.8 and its features. 90% of the companies are still working using JDK 1.8 itself. So which Java development kit you need to install? 1.8. Okay. So if you're unable to find that, I'll send that in the group. Okay, I'll keep a RAR and drop it in the group itself. And make sure if you already have Java installed, uninstall it and have 1.8 itself. Okay, because versions also plays an important role in the projects. In the future, we'll be using the Tomcat, different tools. For that also, again, this version plays an important role. So from the start, we can have a single entity or single things. So,
Rohit,
yeah,
so JDK has to be downloaded to use JVM, right?
yes, because inside JDK, we have again JRE, which contains this JVM. That is the instance structure.
Okay.
What is JRE? Java Runtime Environment. So JDK provides Java runtime environment and JVM is present inside that Java runtime environment. And along with JVM, what are the other things it has? Library files. And the two things which are very important are nothing but the Java-C and Java. So one is the compiler, one is the interpreter. Okay. So these two things are there. So entire JDK consists of all these things. There are a lot of things, but these are the important things you need to understand. Okay. And we know that by using Java, we can develop different types of applications. Like Java is categorized into three types actually. So this is a software thing. Just you need to install JDK 1.8. In that only you'll find JVM, JRE, and all these things. Okay. And here, the Java is categorized into three types. One is Java SE, Java EE, Java ME. SE in the sense standard edition. So why we use this standard edition? To develop the desktop or system applications. What are the examples? Like the notepad, what we have, MS Office we use, the Adobe Reader we have. All this can be developed using Java. Java doubly in the sense enterprise edition. So what we can develop to develop the business applications. And what are the business applications you can say or web applications? Like we have Facebook or Gmail, these kind of web application, e-commerce websites. All this comes under business applications or enterprise editions. And mainly we need to focus on these only. Okay. And what is Java ME micro edition? So this micro edition is used to develop the games in mobile. But nowadays, no one is using this micro edition because we have Android and iOS. And here, previously we used to have the snake game in Nokia mobile using the Java ME only. It used to have this Java symbol, cup symbol. Okay. So here, the main intention is to go through this Java EE Enterprise Edition because 90% of the jobs in the market will be on this Enterprise Edition only, and 10% only will be on the developing a particular software. Okay, so these are the categories. Any doubts?
Can you repeat once again about that micro edition?
The micro edition is nothing but to develop the games in mobile. In the sense, in 1990 or 2000, you can see in 2000 the games we play in Nokia used to be snake games which are developed using Java. But nowadays, no one is using this Java micro edition. It's not being implemented in the market because of Android. Android OS has separate Android language, so people are learning Android and developing the games. Okay, so no need to worry
Yeah.
about this.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Next, so if I want to install JDK, I've installed it. After that, where we write the program, that is the main important thing. So usually Java program can be written in text editors and executed in command prompt. Text editor in the sense you can write the code in Notepad, Notepad++, Edit Plus, Atom, all these things we can use. And in the CMD we can run it. But in the latest things, people use IDE. No one is following this text editor in the command prompt format. What everyone is doing is using the simpler way, that is using the IDE. What is IDE means? Integrated Development Environment. So if you write in the text editors, if you write any code in the notepad, you need to check the errors yourself and rectify it. You won't get any help. Coming to IDE, this IDE framework, what it does, if you are doing any errors, syntax errors or any simple errors, it will give you the suggestions or it will prompt the error there. So for that reason, this IDE is very useful. So what are the different IDEs we have in the market? Usually, most of the people use Eclipse, IntelliJ, MyEclipse. Why Eclipse? In the sense it is open source. So what is open source? Freely available. You don't have to pay anything. So in the market, which is very frequently used thing is nothing but which is open source. If it is open source, we don't have to pay. IntelliJ Community Edition is open source, but if you want to use the entire IntelliJ, you need to pay. Next, NetBeans. NetBeans is purely developed by Java people. Okay. So in the companies, what they are using Eclipse or IntelliJ. So you will be working on both Eclipse and IntelliJ. Okay. We'll install both the things and we'll work on both to have some knowledge. Next. So any doubts in this thing? What is IDE? It's nothing but a tool or a software where we write the code and execute there itself. Here in the text editors, we write separately and execute somewhere else. But in this IDE, where you write the code, there only you will execute. That is the main important thing. Next. So before starting into any language, we need to learn the rules also. Like in the previous session, what we discussed was a class, person, and the person has some age, He can eat or walk or the actions. Okay. So now, how to write a class name? How to write a variable? How to write this method? These rules will follow. So what's the class name rule? First thing, you need to observe one more thing also. You will write the class name. Apart from that, already defined class names also will be there. If you're learning any language, we have some library files, we have some predefined things, means a software developer has already developed a few classes, few methods, few concepts. So how to identify them based on these rules itself? Means if a class name is there, every class name starts with capital letter. Suppose I have scanner. It's a predefined class name. S must be capital. And for every subsequent word, starting letter will be capital. Means for class name, how many words are there? All the words starting letter will be capital. Suppose I have array list. So what I'll do? I'll use A as capital and L as capital. Okay. So for class name, all the words starting letter will be capital. Coming to method name. For method name, if it is only single,
Excuse me, Rohit. What that scanner you told?
it's a predefined class.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay.
I'm not explaining the functionalities here. I'm just saying
Uh,
the rules that scanner is already developed a class, and that also will start with the capital letter. And the person is nothing but what I have written, but it also will be in the capital. And these are the standards. Standards in the sense, you don't write the standards for a machine. You write these standards or follow the standards so that other Java programmers can understand what you have written, or they can use directly what you have written. Okay. There's a slight difference between those two things. Every
okay.
time, whenever you write a program, the standards must be followed, irrespective of the machine. Okay. Now, if a method name is being written, it contains only single word. It will start with small letters. And every method ends with open and close parenthesis. What is the reason? When we come under the methods concept, it will be clear. Next, if I have two words or multiple words, then for a method, only the first word starting letter is small. After that, all the subsequent words starting letter will be capital. Okay, like suppose I have get message. Only M is capital because it's a subsequent word. Print stack trace. Three particular words. Print will be small, stack S will be capital, trace T will be capital. Why? Because method only the first word starting letter is small and all the subsequent words starting letter will be capital. And every method ends with open and close parenthesis. Open and close parenthesis. Okay. Next. How to write this variable names? See, this is a class name. This is a variable name. And this is a method name. Now, the most important thing will be variable name. How to write, what are the rules? So if you're writing a variable name, make sure it starts with a character. Either you can use A to Z any character, or capital A to capital Z any character, or underscore or dollar. You can start the name with either of the things, but you cannot start with a digit. If you want to use a digit, use a character, then use the digits. That is the important thing. Example, if I say I am using a name as 123 total, then it's wrong. What do you have to do? Total 123 you can use. That is the first rule. Or either if you want, you can use a underscore. Then also it's fine. Dollar or underscore, anything you can use. Second rule is it's case sensitive. Means if I am writing here number and number, machine will understand it as two different things. It won't consider that both are number itself, because it's case sensitive, and these two are the valid things here. Okay. Third rule. Reserved keywords cannot be used. So what are reserved keywords? The keywords or the names which are already being used by the developer. So those things you cannot use again separately in your program. Example, like we have this class keyword, we cannot use it again. Void, if, else, break. All this comes under reserved keywords, or the keywords which are already being developed. Okay. Next. Spaces are not allowed between names. Suppose if I want to declare area of triangle, what we are doing, we are giving the space, right? These spaces are not allowed. Either you can use an underscore or you can use without space. Without space, we can write it. Next. And if you observe, if I open a flower bracket, I need to close it because it indicates a block. So these are the basic things, like if I open a flower bracket, I need to close it. If I open a parenthesis, I need to close it. Those are mandatory. And any programming language, the common thing will be there. Suppose in English, we write a paragraph. After the completion of sentence, we keep a full stop or a comma. Why? Because the meaning is ending there and the next sentence has a new meaning. The same way in programming languages, we use semicolon. What this semicolon indicates? End of the instruction. And this will be used to all the instructions in Java. Any doubts in this thing you can ask.
No, no doubt.
So semicolon is, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, so semicolon is the end of instructions, right?
Yes.
And the parenthesis is end of the whole
Flower brackets is end of the block of code.
block
Parenthesis,
of.
when we open, we need to close it for a method.
Achha.
Now, so Deepika, what is the class name rule?
It should start with a capital letter.
Right. Lavanya, what is the method name rule? Lavanya, are you there? No, you are on mute actually.
Hello?
Yeah, now I can hear.
Some problem with my earphones. Yes, so method rule is we have to always use brackets.
Okay. And what is caps and what is small?
It's always case sensitive.
Yes, but here starting word will be small, and after that all the subsequent words starting letter will.
Starts with capital letters.
That is important. You need to
Mhm.
remember that also.
Okay.
Okay. And Nidhi, what is the variable name first rule?
So the variable name, we can't use the numbers for the variable name, and we don't use the reverse reserve key.
No,
And
numbers can't be used at the starting.
okay,
So you
we
can
can
use the numbers, but after the characters only, because machine first reads the characters. It cannot read the number. So
yes,
whenever you have a character, then you can have the digits. That is fine. Okay.
yes.
Okay. Next, Priya, what's the next rule?
You meant to say
Variable name.
variables?
Yeah.
Okay, so like variable should be one type. If I have written int, I cannot be give the float value or any number, any alphabet. So if I'm typing int, I have to give the number. If I'm typing char, then I have to give the alphabet like that. And there will be no gaps between the variable name or like variable later, whatever it is.
Okay. And Priyanka, what is JVM?
Sorry, what is?
JVM.
It's Java Virtual Machine.
Yeah, what it does?
Like
It converts byte code to machine code.
a byte code, yeah.
Yeah, byte code to machine code, it will convert.
Yeah, it's like it works like an interpreter.
Yeah, mediator. interface or the mediator between the codes. Okay. So next, these are the rules what you have to follow. Now, let's open this Eclipse. I have this Eclipse IDE. You need to install Enterprise Java because we will be developing Enterprise Java applications in the future. Okay. So when you go to the installation process, it will ask for standard edition or Enterprise Java developers. Select Enterprise Java itself. How you can download this? Eclipse downloads. In the Eclipse downloads, you can click and here you can get it. Okay. So once you download and install, it will ask for which version because a lot of types will be there, right? So in that, you need to select Java Enterprise Java Edition. And every time it will ask for a workspace actually. Okay. What is workspace? Where you are trying to store the programs. So IDE will occupy a space on our particular system itself. Means I need to create a folder and that folder will be given here. Let's say I'll browse it. So in F drive, Java programs, I have a folder. I'll create another folder. Batch 15 workspace. Okay. So this is the folder we'll be using throughout our programs. And you can just click on launch. It's taking some time. Yeah. So once you see here, and Eclipse Java doubly enterprise, so doubly must be there, or else you need to again install because standard edition we can't develop the websites or web applications. Close it. Go to the file, new, and just give me a second. File, new. You can go for other actually. It's giving some other. In this Java project, you can select what you want to do. I want to do a Java project. So anything like say JNIT, programs. So it'll ask, you want to open this in the Java perspective? Yes, open.
So everything is saved in 15 batch in
Yes.
that folder batch that you created.
Yes, you can just open the
Mm-hmm.
F drive and whatever the programs you have, Java, and you can see batch 15 workspace, the JNIT programs got created.
Okay, so Eclipse also saved here.
No, Eclipse is installed in your machine,
Okay,
and that Eclipse is using some space. That space can be anywhere, whatever you give. Okay, that software
okay,
is working, but it uses the hard disk itself, hard disk memory itself. Which folder you need to
okay,
specify.
okay. Thank you.
And in this, you can see I am using Java SC 1.8. So 1.8 is a version which you need to also install. If I want to write a program, right click, new. What is that I want to write? I want to write a class. Suppose I want to write a test class. Some options are given here. Don't select any option, but it is asking which method would you like to create. Here, you need to select the public static void main string args. This is very important, this line of code. Why it is required actually? Why this line of code is required? And this is to do auto-generated, means this got auto-generated, like we didn't write it, right? So Eclipse framework created, that's the reason this message is getting displayed. And in any language, there is a one thing known as comment. So what is comment? If you want something to hide from the machine, then this comment is being used. So here, what we can say, double slash for single line comment. Slash star, multiple line comment. Means you can write this in multiple lines. Okay. Suppose if I remove these two lines, it's giving error. Why? Because the Eclipse framework cannot recognize all these things. So if you want this to be hidden, like if you want this to hide, double slash. So machine will not detect it. It's for the programmer's benefit. That's it. Okay. And if you want, you can just say slash star multiple lines. Understood? So why this line of code is required is, what is JVM? I said JVM, which converts bytecode to machine code. When JVM is trying to execute our program, it has to start somewhere. The starting point itself is public static void main string args. This entire line. This is the starting point for the JVM. Okay, what it does mean, what is public, what is static, each and every keyword I'll explain again. Okay, just that if you participate in a race, there will be a line, start line, finish line, like that. People will be giving you this instructions. because you need to understand it. The same way for the machine also, we need to give some instructions that if this line of code is there, execute. If this line of code is not there, don't execute. Okay. So if you want to execute, like I want to print something, how to print? Directly I can't use print and do it, right? It's giving error. So there is a procedure for everything. In the previous session, what is class definition and what is object? I've explained this, right?
Collection of objects and variables.
Yeah, collection of objects, variables, and methods. What is object then?
Object is a memory. It has properties.
Right, memory. That object is a memory. Without that, we can't do anything. Okay. And here, if you see, if I'm writing println, I'm getting error. If I want to print anything, I'm getting error. Whereas if I say system.out.println, I'm not getting any error. Okay. So if you want to print anything, we use system.out.println to print output. So what we can write here in the double quotes, we write, welcome to Java language. That's it. I've written an instruction, welcome to Java language. Is this font visible, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I want to execute this. How to execute? You have a run here. You can click directly run. What it's saying, welcome to Java language. Okay. So if I want to write, I can write welcome to right click, say run as Java application. On the file, you can right click, say run as Java application. Welcome to J90. So what's happening here, whatever you write, it will be displaying as it is onto the browser, like console. This is the console output screen. Okay. So whatever you write in this system.out.println, it will be printed onto the console directly. That you need to understand. Understood? So your task is install JDK, write this line of code and print it. Okay. And individually send me a screenshot in Skype once you have done it. If you're getting any issues, you can just directly ping me. Okay.
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 Right. Any doubts in today's session?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we write a method, we always use void. In previous, you explained that in method you write age and a method in write a void.
Yes, yes.
So we always use void. Yeah.
Yes, yes. What I'll do is next I'll explain how to write a class, how to create object, how to write
Okay.
variables, what are the different types of variables, what are the different types of methods. So step by step will come. So at the time of methods, why we write void, what are the other options we have, all those things also I'll explain again.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is just
I think that yeah, void is used here. So every time we use void when we write the method.
no, it's not like that. I'll explain, then it will be clear to you. So the process is for few days, follow this like at least 3 to 4 days. What I will say you complete. Once we complete the methods concept, you'll get a grip on how to write a code also.
Okay.
First,